LeDavid Mizmor, L'Adonai ha'aretz umloa, Tevel v'yoshveva, Ki hu al yamim yesada, Ve'al nahorot yichoneneha. The earth is the Lord's with all of its fullness. The world is the Lord's with all of its inhabitants. Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in the holy place? He who has clean hands and a pure heart. He will receive a blessing from the Lord and a just reward from the God of deliverance. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai mi agur b'yahalecha, mi yishkon bahar kachecha, Holech tamim ufoel tzedek v'dover emet bilvavo. Lo ragal al lishono, lo asa l'rehu ra'ah, v'cherpa lo nasa al krovo. O Lord, who will dwell in your sanctuary? Who will live with you upon your holy mountain? He who lives with integrity, who does what is right, who speaks the truth in his heart, who has no slander upon his tongue, who does no evil to a fellow human being. Whoever does these things shall stand firm forever. Strange is our situation here upon earth. Each of us comes for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to divine a purpose. From the standpoint of daily life, however, there is one thing we do know, that we are here for the sake of each other, for those upon whose smile and well-being our own happiness depends. Many times a day I realize how much my outer and inner life is built upon the labors of others, both living and dead, and how earnestly I must exert myself in order to give in return how much I have received and am still receiving. Louis Ostrach had a passion for learning. He had a passion for science. He had a passion for truth. And those passions informed his life. Those passions informed his actions and his pursuits. His resume is replete with his achievements. People relied on him, and they trusted in him, and they could depend on him and his research, his analysis, his logical and deductive reasoning. Raised in a household that certainly encouraged the pursuit of the intellect and the pursuit of science. You know that Louis found these pursuits satisfying and fulfilling throughout his life. A distinguished career as a scientist and civil servant, educated at some of the nation's finest universities, Brown and Stanford, and his positions at Lockheed Martin and then at NASA, testified to the depth of his scientific skills. His time serving as union representative testified to the depth of his sensitivity. He was well thought of, he was well liked, a respected career, and a good and devoted colleague. And if I stop here, while I would be telling the truth, I would be missing something very, very important. Because we all know that while he used a certain type of thinking and a certain type of intelligence when he was pursuing his PhD and writing articles and doing research, he used a certain kind of part of his brain for that. But he was using a different kind of intelligence in a different part of his brain. When Sandy, he wrote you shortly after you had visited him and told you for the first time that he loved you. That's a different part of the brain. That's a different part of the mind. That's a different type of intelligence. And that's a different passion. And it is a passion, it is a feeling, it is a thinking that we all need and that he needed. And he then pursued it as the greatest exploration of his life. He may have spent his career dedicated to the exploration of the universe out there, but he found that some of the greatest explorations of all is a self-exploration, exploring the depths within as he found his soulmate and as he raised his family. To love and to nurture and to relate to and to raise a family and to share a partnership. His family, his daughters, were the most important thing to him. When you were all living in the Bay Area, the girls were still young. He'd be working during the week, but weekends were for projects with the girls, camping, planting trees, teaching them about nature, teaching them about animals. The word in Hebrew for teacher, moreh, is almost identical to the Hebrew word for parent, which is horeh. It's almost the same word because if you're really lucky in life, your parent will be your best teacher. And Lillian and Sarah, you had one very fine and very devoted and very loving and very sensitive teacher. He taught many people, but he was most proud of teaching the two of you. He was an incredibly hands-on father, teaching you how to use tools, supporting you in what you wanted to do, your own interests, helping you. As I understand, even building the cello stand, right, for the high school music director. Louis was the primary caregiver for Lillian during her first year and a half of life. He was an avid gardener. He enjoyed growing herbs, a voracious reader who sent his kids suggested books to read. And it wasn't just that your father taught you skills, he taught you values. He taught you the importance of hard work. He taught you the importance of being prepared. He taught you the importance of setting a standard in your profession. He followed the truth wherever it led. While not overly involved in organized religion, he believed very much in family and in family gatherings and in holidays and in traditions. He taught you to respect and value every human being. He believed and advocated for women's rights and gay rights and inclusivity for all. He also taught anyone who knew him the importance of curiosity. He was always interested in discovering and exploring new things. He taught people the importance of staying close as a family. He remained close to his siblings, and we offer our condolences, of course, to you, to Stephen and Naomi and David and Judy. Sai, you told me that your son always had a little bit of a mazik in him, you said. A little bit of a devil pushing the envelope, mischievous, great personality, great humor, enjoyed being with people and having fun. Sai, you saw this boy grow into adulthood, facing adult decisions, working hard and setting the priorities of his life. Your son enjoyed life and emerged as an honored and respected scientist and as a loving and caring human being. And by the way, that combination doesn't always happen. Some of the brightest and intellectually brilliant people sometimes fall down when it comes to treating people in a kind way. We know this. And sometimes success in career does not always translate into personal success. And then there are those who do well in family life who don't achieve professional success. Your son had both. And at its core was that he found love. Sandy, you and he had met on the dance circuit. But in this case, the dance circuit was the bar mitzvah dance circuit when you were very, very young. You became best friends in high school and college, but then had gone on your own explorations. But when you reconnected, it was for life. You were committed to many of the same values. In some ways, you were different. You perhaps were more animated. You said, was the more organized of the two of you. But you had a certain bond from such an early age, and distance and time just seemed to evaporate when you reconnected. And you were blessed to be together, to raise your daughters, to share joys and challenges. You were his best friend, and you supported him in all that he did. And one thing I know that you and your daughters and the entire family admired about him was his optimism. He faced challenges in life. He had encountered his own vulnerabilities, his own weaknesses, but he kept his optimism and he kept his graciousness. He was gracious even during illness. He developed health issues, but he wasn't naive. He recognized the precariousness of his own life, but he was also determined to live. Even as limitations set in, he was determined to live in the best way possible and to continue to relate to people and care for people. You know, I want you to know, we are, as Jews, an ethnic group, a religious faith that reveres the mind. We are called the people of the book because of our emphasis on learning. But I want you to know our tradition warns us, and they even use the phrase, our tradition warns us against, quote, the idolatry of the brain. That is, that as important as the logical is, and the rational is, and the analytical is, the calculative aspect of the brain, the tradition says you got to make room for the part of life which is beauty, which is emotion, which is kindness, and which is love. Lewis could have been a successful person only with the first, with the intellectual side, but he always made certain to emphasize this second aspect of life. In fact, he made that his ultimate goal, and he succeeded. Lewis used his talents to further the exploration of the stars and outer space. Lewis believed in the ability of the human being to use knowledge and wisdom to shape the environment, to improve his environment, to elevate humanity. He dedicated his life to that pursuit as a scientist, but along the way, he discovered something else. He discovered that he could accomplish all of those goals as a father and as a parent as well. That he could use knowledge and wisdom to elevate humanity by being a great father. That while it is true that exploring the universe can elevate humanity, sometimes the most important way we can improve humanity is by creating a healthy family. By creating a healthy, empowering, ethically conscious family. Family life is the key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. And that he was most dedicated and determined to do. He lived with a good name, and he died with a good name. Let's rise, everyone. El mole rachamim, shochen bamromim, hametzei menucha nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina, v'malot kedoshim, utehorim, ano bal harachamim astirehu, b'seiter kenafecha leolamim, utzror b'tzrachem et nishmato, Adonai hu nachalato, v'yanoch b'shalom amishkavo, v'nomar amen. May we remember all of the worthy deeds that he performed while in the land of the living. May his soul be bound up in the bonds of eternal life. God is now his portion. May he rest in peace. And we all say amen. Let's be seated. Death separates, but it can also unite those who are left behind. May the memory of our departed inspire us to live nobly and charitably, and to animate with cheerfulness and fun all those who surround us. We want to offer our condolences to the family, to Sandy, to Lillian and Jack, and Sarah, Stephan and Marion, Naomi and Jeff, David, Judy and John, and of course to Lewis's father, Simon Ostrach. We want to note that the family will be receiving friends in terms of visitation today, following services until 8 p.m., and the address is 28176 Belcourt Drive in Pepper Pike. That's a size residence. Again, 28176 Belcourt Drive, beginning following services and until 8 p.m. this evening. We want to, on behalf of the family, I want to thank everyone for gathering here to offer our condolences and pay our respects and offer our comfort during this period of mourning. Services are now concluded. I've read the. I'm sorry? Oh, of course. We're going to rise for the Kaddish, yes. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimaru, amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivarach le'olam ulolmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei kudesha berichu, la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'yimaru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Hamakom yinachem etchem b'toch sha'ar avei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you who are mourning with us today, together with all others who mourn in the house of Israel and in all of the world. And we all say amen. Service